And beloved, the second lesson we learn from this study is to consider the consequences of the things we ask for. It was not completely wrong for Israel to ask for a king, but Israel's motive and timing was wrong. They were asking for the wrong kind of king, and they were asking at the wrong time. They wanted a king now, and they were not willing to wait for God's perfect timing. If they had been patient and waited, God would have given them a different kind of king in his own time. Instead of a king like all the other nations, God would have given them a king like David, a king after his own heart. But God wanted the Israelites to know beforehand the consequences that would follow their decision. So he made Samuel warn the people of Israel over and over that the king they are asking for would take their sons, he would take their daughters, and also take 1/10 of their grains, their livestock, and their flocks. Samuel was helping Israel to consider all the negative consequences of their request. Beloved, God did not grant Israel's request right away. He made Samuel to talk with them about all the negative consequences that having a king would bring. So you would think after being faced with all the consequences, Israel will withdraw their requests, but they didn't, and so God gave them what they requested for. Beloved, when God says yes, it is not always a sign of his approval or his favor. It may be a sign of God's discipline for a stubborn heart, which is why when you bring your request to God, you must be careful what you ask for. Perhaps you are attracted to someone and you are asking God, please God, let it work out between me and this person. Beloved, what if God says yes and then the relationship turns out not to be a good one? What if God says yes and you miss out on a better relationship that God had in mind for you? Beloved, we need to be careful what we ask and always consider the consequences first. There are consequences to every decision we make, and sadly, some of these consequences cannot be reversed. So you need to be careful in what you ask for and always consider God's will when you pray. One of the main reasons for unanswered prayer is seeking our will instead of God's will. Beloved, James chapter 4 verse 3 says that when you ask, you do not receive because you ask with wrong motives, that you may spend what you get on your pleasures. Beloved, if you want to receive an answer to all your prayer requests and have the best things that God wants you to have at the right time and with no sorrow attached to them, then whenever you present your request to God, say that, Lord, not my will, but your will be done in my life.